Good morning, one and all. Om Gana Timaranda Sangana Gana Sadakya Chaksurun Meditam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurve Sri Chaitanya Manobistam Stapitam Yena Bhutare Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Darati Swaparantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Siyata Parakamanam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Sta Sri Rupam Sagutam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Stam Sadevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sayitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Ladita Sri Vishakan Vitam Sta Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutare Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tanamani Namaste Sarasati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesa Sanyavadi Praskata De Sadharini Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Sri Krishna Janamastami Mahotsava Ki Jai. This is thanks for joining us this very auspicious morning. Normally we call Tuesdays Transcendental Tuesdays, but today is truly, with all capital letters, Transcendental Tuesday, because Tuesday, August 11th, 2020, good morning, Bill, Ki Jai, is the appearance day, the most holy day on the calendar. Good morning, Anjali. Happy Janamastami to one and all. Yes, this is truly hashtag Transcendental Tuesday, hashtag Janamastami, and we have a special treat for you. Good morning, bye Bobby. We're going to read the sweetest Jimmy from Minnesota. Hare Krishna, happy Janamastami, Rupa Manjari. Thanks for joining us here in Spanish Fork, Utah. We've selected from the Ananda Vrndavan Champu by Srila Kavi, Karnapura, as translated by Banuswami and Subhagoswami. Good morning, Bill. Hare Krishna. Happy Janamastami, everybody. We're going to read about the appearance of the Lord from Kavi Karnapura's book, Ananda Vrndavan Champu, as translated by Banuswami and Subhagoswami. This is the sweetest pastime, sweetest narration that you could possibly ever imagine. Now we will discuss the truth about the transcendental birthplace of Bhagavan and the appearance of Lord Sri Krishna. Once upon a time, Bhumi, the predominating deity of the earth, felt overburdened by different demons, posing as members of the royal order. Feeling aggrieved upon seeing her miserable, good morning, Govinda. Feeling aggrieved upon seeing her miserable condition, the lotus-born Brahma, Mary from Reno. For those of you who are just joining us, we're reading from the Ananda Vrndavan Champu, the appearance of Lord Sri Krishna. Feeling aggrieved upon seeing her miserable condition, the lotus-born Brahma appeared to Chirodaksha Vishnu, the maintainer of the universe, saying, "Please deliver goddess Bhumi, who is feeling greatly distressed by these demoniac kings. Only you can remove this terrible influence from the earth." The time for an appearance of the Lord coincided with two internal desires of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. First, the Lord desired to descend on earth to increase the fortune of Yashoda and Nanda. Also at that time, Krishna wanted to relish the sweet mellow of Shringara Ras, Paramore love, while enacting his worldly pastimes. For these two reasons, the Lord appeared within the material creation on Bhuloka, Earth planet, along with his parents, friends, and other eternal associates. Another distinction of Lord Krishna's earthly pastimes is that when the eternally liberated gopis, such as Srimati Radharani, Chandavali, and others appeared, the Shrutis personified also appeared in the homes of other gopis because they had previously cultivated the desire to serve Sri Krishna as Braja gopis. The Dandakaranya sages, upon seeing the Shrakiya Bhava, the sweet conjugal relationship of Lord Ramachandra and Sita Devi, desired to have the same relationship with their Lord Madana Gopal. Upon attaining perfection in their sadhana, they achieved the fortunate position of appearing as gopis in Vrndavan. Yogamaya, Lord Krishna's pastime potency, who possesses unlimited abilities, appeared invisibly in Goloka to arrange this and perform other difficult tasks on behalf of the Lord. Sri Nanda, Yashoda, and others appeared in Brihadvana, Mahavana, before the Lord. The gopis, and other eternally liberated associates appeared after the Lord. Then those who had attained perfection by sadhana, namely the Shrutacharis and Municharis, took birth in Vrndavan. Learning of Krishna's imminent appearance, the earth personified, feeling like a wife happily greeting her husband after a long separation, immersed in unlimited joy. At the time of Krishna's birth, the general mass of people tasted the inner bliss that devotees forever relish. Auspicious signs abounded everywhere. As Vishnu's conch shell Panchajanya opens in a clockwise fashion, similarly auspicious sacrificial fires glowed in all directions. Pure, gentle breezes brought a refreshing coolness, like devotees who satisfy and sanctify everyone with their calm, sweet, and affectionate behavior. The whole atmosphere became as completely purified as the heart of a devotee. The devotees once again found peace and prosperity in worshiping the lotus feet of Sri Hari. Fruits filled the jubilant trees, but the envious demons exhibited various inauspicious signs of degradation, such as rapidly aging and symptoms of imminent death. The desire vines of the celestial denizens seemed to be hanging in the air as if eager to produce fruits. At that time, all the directions became felt as pure and joyful as the mind of a poisonous, At that time, all the directions became as pure and joyful as the mind of a devotee who has received the mercy of Lord Hari. Just as gems, mantras, or medicines can remove a poisonous disease from the body of a man, the advent of the Lord relieved the world from the contamination of material existence and the sinful effect of the demons. Happiness gradually replaced the distress in everyone's heart. The bodies of all creatures manifested extraordinary beauty and youthful vitality. Men felt extremely joyful and displayed virtuous qualities. Throughout the world, people behaved cordially, wouldn't that be nice? And interacted amicably. Happiness twinkled in everyone's eye. At the end of Dwapara Yuga, which completely destroys faults and doubts, an auspicious, favorable, obstacle-free time appeared on the 8th day of the waning moon in Bhadra month. Just at that sweet moment, the Rohini Nakshatra, along with the good qualities of the moon, and an auspicious conjunction of stars called Ayushman, appeared in the sky to give shelter to gentle persons. As a living entity comes out from the womb of his mother, and the moon appears on the lap of the eastern direction, Yogeshwara Sri Krishna, the personification of complete bliss, appeared amidst great festivities. As the moon appears in the lap of the eastern direction, which is like a beautiful bride, Krishna manifested the wonderful pastime of his appearance out of love and compassion for the conditioned souls. Due to austerities performed in previous lives, Vasudeva and Devaki received the opportunity to momentarily relish parental affection for Lord Sri Krishna when he appeared before them in his form as Vasudeva. Thereafter, in fear of Kamsa, Vasudeva brought Vasudeva Krishna to Gokula. There the Supreme Lord appeared as Govinda before Nanda and Yashoda, his eternal parents who have been smothering him with the sweetest form of parental love since time immemorial. The four symbols of Vishnu, the conch shell, disc, club, and lotus flower, adorned his hands and feet. The flute, flower garland, and Kaustubhi jewel, although present within him, had not yet manifested. If you just joined us, for instance, Douglas and Bhakti and Caprice, we're celebrating or observing the auspicious appearance day, Janamastami day of Lord Sri Krishna, on this Tuesday morning by reading from Ananda Vrndavan Champu, which is a classical work by Kavi Karnapura, describing the appearance day of Lord Krishna. If you're from Utah, you're welcome to attend the observances starting from 4 o'clock this afternoon in the Salt Lake City Temple in Mill Creek. Otherwise, if you're from some other part of the States or some other part of the world, there'll be the opportunity to get darshan at the Krishna temples. The festivities will be somewhat subdued because of need for social distancing, masks, and not having people congregate in the temple room. But most temples should have darshan available, prasadam, some by appointment. You don't have to worry about that here in Utah, however. There'll be a fire sacrifice and 108 offerings. At 4 o'clock at the Salt Lake Temple, there'll be arti at 6 o'clock, there'll be a bathing ceremony at 8 o'clock, and there'll be prasadam throughout. So continuing here, in case you just recently joined us, reading from the very sweet, sweet, nectarine, relishable account of the appearance of Lord Krishna according to Kavi Karnapura. In fear of cruel Kamsa, Vasudeva decided to transfer all his wives except Devaki to Gokula. He sent Rohini to the house of Vrajaraj Nanda. By the sweet will of the Lord, Yogamaya arranged for the seventh child of Devaki, who was Balaram, to enter into the womb of Rohini. As a result, Balaram appeared in the home of Vrajaraj Nanda before the birth of Krishna. Lord Hari, who is bliss personified, appeared in the home of Nanda Maharaj, the king of Vrndavan, for three reasons. One, to engage the self-satisfied sages in devotional service. To please the devotees by performing sweet transcendental pastimes. And thirdly, to relieve the earth's burden caused by the demons. At the time of his majestic birth, Krishna employed his inconceivable powers to appear in a body of eternity, bliss, and knowledge. Everyone in the maternity room swelled with joy upon seeing the Lord's exquisite transcendental form that looked like a creeper of beauty. Mother Yashoda resembled a lake of spiritual ecstasy in which a brilliant blue lotus of personified bliss had appeared. Neither the wind nor the bees relished the fragrance of that blue lotus. That unborn lotus was never touched by the waves of the modes of nature. Even Lord Brahma could not see it, what to speak of ordinary men. After Yashoda and her family members fell asleep in the maternity room, Hari cried beautifully like a newborn baby. This is presumably after the transfer of Krishna from the prison house where Vasudeva carried him through the Yamuna River to Gokula and brought back the just-born child of Mother Yashoda Yogamaya. So Krishna is now in Vrndavan. After Yashoda and her family members fell asleep in the maternity room, Hari cried beautifully like a newborn baby. His crying sounded like the Maha Vakya Omkar, announcing the auspicious arrival of his pastimes. Omkar is a transcendental vibration that had previously emanated from the mouth of Lord Brahma. When the ladies of Vrndavan heard the sweet sound of Krishna's crying, they woke up and ran to see the Lord. With the mellow of their matchless overflowing affection, they anointed his body. The natural fragrance of Krishna's body smelled like musk. After the ladies bathed Krishna in sweet ambrosia, he looked clean and beautiful. Then they smeared his body with fragrant sandalwood pulp. The presiding deity of the house sent a champak flower resembling the flame of a lamp into the maternity room to worship that ornament of the three worlds. With the strength of his little arms, delicate as the tender leaves of a tree, Krishna made all the lamps in the maternity room look like a garland of lotus flower buds. The ladies of Vrndavan saw baby Krishna like a blossoming flower made of the best of blue sapphires, or like a newly unfurled leaf of the tamal tree. Krishna looked like a fresh rain cloud decorated with the musk tilak of the goddess of fortune of the three worlds. The ointment of the greatest auspiciousness lined his eyes. His presence filled the maternity room with good fortune. Although a mere baby, Krishna had a head full of curly hair. To hide the unique signs on his hands, god, fish, conch, etc., the Lord folded his delicate petal-like fingers into his lotus palm. At that time, Krishna lay on his back with his eyes closed. Mother Yashoda awoke amidst the joyous chattering of the elderly gopis. Leaning over the bed, she admired her gorgeous son. But upon noticing her own reflection on Krishna's body, she imagined it another woman. Thinking that a witch had assumed her form to kidnap Krishna, Yashoda became bewildered and yelled, "Get out of here, you go away." Spontaneously, she cried out to Nrsinga Dev, the half-man, half-lion incarnation, to protect her precious son. Beholding Krishna's tender face, Yashoda showered tears of affection that looked like an offering of a pearl necklace. Yashoda saw Krishna's body as a mound of dark blue musk, softer than the butter churned from the milk ocean. Overflowing with nectar, his charming body appeared like the foam of milk. By being dark blue in color, it seemed like the foam was full of musk juice. Admiring the supremely delicate form of her son, Yashoda worried about his safety and feared the touch of her body might hurt his tender body. As she leaned over the bed, Yashoda bathed Krishna with the milk dripping from her breasts. The elderly gopis instructed Yashoda how to caress the baby in her lap and affectionately pushed the nipple of her breast into Krishna's mouth to feed him. When milk sometimes spilled out of Krishna's bimba fruit red lips onto his cheeks, Mother Yashoda would wipe his face with the edge of her sari. After feeding her son, Yashoda gazed affectionately at him in wonder. She saw her child's body as made of dazzling blue sapphires. His mouth resembled a red bimba fruit, and his hands and feet looked like exquisite rubies. Krishna's nails shone like precious gems. In this way, Yashoda thought her child was completely made of jewels. Then she perceived that his naturally reddish lips looked like banduka flowers. His hands and feet resembled java flowers, and his nails looked like malika flowers. Yashoda then thought, Krishna's whole body seems to be made of blue lotus flowers. He does not appear to be mine. After thus deliberating within herself, Yashoda became stunned in amazement. The beautiful, soft, curly hairs on the right side of Krishna's chest resembled the tender stems of lotus. Seeing the mark of Srivatsa on his chest, Yashoda thought it was breast milk that had spilled out of his mouth. She tried unsuccessfully to remove these quote-unquote milk stains with the edge of her cloth. Struck with wonder, Yashoda thought this must be the sign of a great personality. Observing the mark of Lakshmi, a small golden line, on the left side of Krishna's chest, Yashoda thought a small yellow bird had made a nest amidst the leaves of a tamal tree. Could this be a streak of lightning resting on a rain cloud? Or could it be the golden streaks marking a black gold testing stone? Krishna's delicate leaf-like hands and feet, glowing pink like the rising sun, looked like clusters of lotus flowers floating in the Yamuna. Sometimes, Yashoda saw the curly, dark blue locks of baby Krishna as a swarm of bumblebees surrounding his face. Intoxicated from drinking too much honey nectar, the bees just hovered in the sky. His thick, beautiful hair appeared like the dark night. The two lotus eyes of Krishna looked like a pair of blue lotus buds. His cheeks resembled two huge bubbles floating in a lake of liquefied blue sapphires. Krishna's attractive ears looked like a pair of fresh, unfurled leaves growing on a blue creeper. The tip of Krishna's dark nose appeared like the sprout of a tree, and his nostrils looked like bubbles in the Yamuna River, the daughter of the sun god. His lips resembled a pair of red java flower buds. Krishna's chin rivaled a pair of ripe rajumbu flutes. Seeing the extraordinary beauty of her son fulfilled the purpose of her eyes and submerged Mother Yashoda in an ocean of bliss. The elderly Brajvasi ladies addressed Brajaraj Nanda, quote, "O most fortunate one, you fathered a son," end quote. Previously, Nanda Maharaj had felt deeply aggrieved over his long-standing inability to obtain a son. His heart was like a small lake that had dried up during a long, hot summer. But when Nanda Maharaj heard of his son's birth, he felt as if the dry lake of his heart had been blessed with a sudden downpour of nectar. The gentle sound of Krishna's voice removed all his grief and lamentation. Now he bathed in the rains of bliss, swam in the ocean of nectar, and felt embraced by the joyful stream of the celestial Ganges. Eager to see his son, Nanda's body thrilled with astonishment and waves of ecstasy as he stood outside the maternity room. Because he had accumulated heaps of pious activities, it appeared that the king of Vrndavan was now shaking hands with the personification of pious deeds. Anxiously standing in the background, Yogamaya induced Nanda Maharaj to enter the maternity room. He rushed in to see his son, the personified seed of condensed bliss. It seemed that all the auspiciousness of the three worlds now resided within Krishna, the original cause of everything. Nanda saw his son as a perfectly charming person. The cudgel around Krishna's eyes looked like lines on a black creeper of beauty. As the very embodiment of Nanda's good fortune, Sri Krishna bloomed like a beautiful flower in a garden of desire trees. The Aparijata flower is compared to the body of the queen of Vrndavan. Her son is like the representative of the Upanishads that are compared to the fruit of the desire creepers. By seeing his glorious son, Nanda felt that he had attained happiness, perfection, and the fulfillment of all his desires. Meeting that embodiment of bliss overwhelmed Nanda with immeasurable satisfaction. He stood motionless, stunned. His hair stood erect and tears flowed from his eyes. He appeared like a person carved in stone or a figure drawn in a painting. For some time, Nanda Maharaj remained in this semi-conscious state like a sleeping man about to awaken. Upananda, Sunanda, and other relatives felt extremely joyful while observing the best of Brahmins perform the rites of purification for Krishna's birth. To ensure his son's welfare, Nanda Maharaj donated newborn calves to each and every Brahmin, thus turning their homes into the abodes of Sarabi cows. These cows had gold and silver-plated horns and hooves, and jeweled necklaces adorning their necks. In addition, Vrajapati, Nanda filled the courtyards of their homes with hills of gold, jewels, and sesame seeds. While Nanda distributed charity, the Kamodhenus, touchstones, and desire trees lost their power to produce valuable items. Even the jewel-producing oceans lost their stock of jewels, and the goddess of fortune, the abode of lotuses, had but one lotus in her hand. The auspicious news of Krishna's wonderful appearance spread in all directions by word of mouth. Delight danced in the hearts of Nanda, his brothers Upananda and Sunanda, and all the other gopas. The gopas brought many varieties of delicious dairy products such as milk, yogurt, butter, wet cheese and hard cheese, and jewel-studded pots. The pots were tied to the ends of bamboo poles with jute straps and carried on their shoulders. Bedecked with many precious jeweled ornaments, the gopas appeared very handsome. They dressed in beautiful yellow cloth, defeating the brilliance of lightning, and held staffs topped with gold and jewels in their lotus hands. As a great ocean spreads its waves in all directions, the birth of Krishna filled the Brajavasis with unbounded bliss. The gopas and gopis enjoyed a grand festival by happily eating and by splashing each other's bodies with a mixture of yogurt, butter, milk, and condensed milk. The society girls visiting Nanda Maharaj's house experienced more happiness than they'd ever felt in their lives, their minds saturated with joy and satisfaction. Hearing the delightful description of Krishna's birth carried away the chariots of their minds and made them abandon all of their duties. They became possessed with the desire to see Krishna. Sparkling rubies hung from the necklace adorning the society girls. Their diamond-studded armlets shone more beautifully than drops of crystal clear water. Their jewel-inlaid golden bangles boasted unparalleled elegance. For this unique festival, they took out some highly ornamental waist belts from their jewel boxes and tied them around their hips. The sweet jingling of the waist bells resting on their broad hips enhanced the beauty of these society girls. They attracted the minds of everyone with their bulky golden anklets, loosened hair braids, and graceful gait, which resembled the smooth gliding of swans. Their minds entered a state of enchantment as they gazed upon the captivating beauty of Krishna's transcendental body. To worship Krishna, they brought golden trays full of auspicious articles such as fruits, flowers, yogurt, durbar grass, uncooked rice, and jewel-bedecked lamps. They covered the offering plates with splendid yellow silk cloth and held them in their soft lotus hands. Their jeweled ankle bells vibrated pleasantly as they walked. Beholding the astounding beauty of the delicate baby, the girls considered the purpose of their eyes fulfilled. They perceived Krishna's perfect birth to be like the appearance of the leaves of an important herbal medicine. Krishna resembled a blue lotus floating in the lake of his parents' affection. After bestowing their blessings for Krishna's prosperity, they worship Krishna with fresh flowers and a constant shower of loving glances. With great enthusiasm, the girls glorified Brijeshwari Yashoda, since she had attained the essence of all good fortune by having Krishna as their son. Leaving the maternity room, the girls entered the assembly hall of Nanda Maharaj's palace. Their faces looked exceedingly beautiful as they sung melodious songs which resembled the soft, sweet humming of bees moving amidst a cluster of lotus flowers. All the guests bathed in a nectar shower produced by these smoothing sounds. Overwhelmed with love, they filled their lotus palms with fragrant oil, turmeric paste, and fresh butter, and started smearing each other's faces and bodies. They looked very attractive with smiling faces and glittering white teeth. Their red lips seemed more beautiful than red banduka flowers. This incredible display of elegance smashed the pride of the goddess of fortune of the three worlds. Carried away with joy over Krishna's birth, the ladies fearlessly threw cheese balls, butter, and yogurt at each other. One could mistake the white balls of cheese for hailstones, solidified moonlight, or white mud from the floor of the milk ocean. Then they showered each other with buttermilk, aromatic oils, and water mixed with turmeric. Cymbals, drums, and big drums, kettle drums vibrated auspicious sounds and specific melodies. A celestial concert of precise poetical meters, proper rhythms, and metrical compositions suddenly manifested there. The musical ensemble inspired the girls to sing and dance in mirth and merriment. Though not good singers, by the will of the Lord, they sang with great virtuosity. Then wonderful songs filled Nanda Maharaj's heart with joy. The combined vibrations of brahmanas chanting Vedic hymns, the recitation of Vedic mantras, and the Panajis prayers transformed the ether into Sabda Brahman. The joy of Krishna's birth celebration taxed the drains of Nanda Maharaj's capital city as they swelled to the brim with milk, yogurt, and other auspicious liquids. Soon rivers of this nectar flooded the streets of the town and permeated the entire atmosphere with a sweet fragrance. Disguising themselves as birds, the demigods descended to Brajapura to happily drink the flood of nectar. The Brajavasis decorated the cows with gold and jeweled ornaments. Then in great excitement they smeared them with oil, fresh butter, and turmeric paste. Beholding Krishna in their hearts, these fortunate cows looked like the essence of the earth's auspiciousness, the whole world resounding with their jubilant bellowing. Absorbed in the ecstasy of Krishna's birth, they forgot about eating and drinking. The festival drowned the cowherd maidens in an ocean of joy. After offering oil, vermilion, garlands, and utensils in charity to all the assembled gopis, Rohini, the wife of Vasudeva, asked them to bless Krishna. Upon completion of the sacrifice, Upananda and the other relatives felt constant happiness while taking their baths. Keeping the king of Vrndavan up in the front, Nanda's relatives offered opulent cloth, jeweled ornaments, tambula, garlands, and sandalwood pulp to the guests. Then they humbly requested all in attendance to bless that wonderfully auspicious boy who had just appeared in Vrndavan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We read an account just now by Kavi Karnapura of the appearance day of Lord Krishna, as narrated in the Ananda Vrndavan Champu. Today, throughout one of the 820 ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, or Hare Krishna temples worldwide, there will be the sound of kirtan, of Vedic mantras, the ringing of bells, the playing of drums and cymbals, the distribution of prasadam. There will be havans, fire sacrifices, pushpanjalis, offerings of flowers to Krishna while chanting the Krishna stotra, 108 different melodies of Krishna. There will be a midnight arti commemorating the fact that Krishna appeared in the prison house of Kamsa at the midnight arti. Devotees who are serious about practicing devotional service will fast throughout the day and break their fast only at midnight. I don't know what the various procedures and protocols are at those temples throughout the world. Many of them are available to just drop in. Some of them you're supposed to have an appointment, but check with whatever your local temple is demarking as the guidelines for visiting. And worst case scenario, I'm sure that every single temple will have online the video and audio of their observances of this most holy of days on the Vaishnava calendar, Janamastami, the appearance day of Lord Krishna. If you're from Utah, you don't have to make an appointment. You can drop by anytime today, specifically from 4 p.m. this afternoon when we have a fire sacrifice and 108 flower offering to Krishna. 6 o'clock will be Arti. Yes, thank you for all those emojis. 8 o'clock, there'll be the beginning of the sacred bathing ceremony, Abhishek. And at midnight, there'll be gala offering. For those who are not fasting, for those visitors to the temple, we'll have some dry prasadam for free, and we'll have a hot meal also for a donation of, I believe it'll be $8. So perhaps we'll see you later today in the Salt Lake Temple. Perhaps we won't see you, but you'll see us online. If so, please give us your support with all the emojis and all the thumbs up, likes, comment also. Until we meet again tomorrow for the appearance day of Srila Prabhupada, the founder and chair of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, use this special holy day for chanting, fasting, or if you're not fasting, take prasadam when you visit the temple, getting darshan either physically or online, and again, either physically or online, checking in on all the various fire sacrifices, artis, kirtans, and the many, many ways in which our worldwide international society is celebrating and commemorating the descent of the Supreme Personality of God in his original transcendental form to benedict the conditioned souls of this material world and to try to encourage them to go back to home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Happy Janamastami, August 11th, Transcendental Tuesday, 2020. Hare Bo.